Record. Okay. Have you okayed it, Arnold? Yeah, cool. Kia ora, Linda. I already did my Zoom presentation, and I'm now gonna click on this little video here, and Arnold and I gonna listen to it. And here it comes, Linda. I'm basically doing a follow-up from what Arnold is doing. Kia ora, Linda. I would like to introduce myself, and I would like to thank you for allowing me to share my expression and knowledge in this PowerPoint presentation about all the implication of our PowerPoint presentation on the process that influences our social work practice. My name is Ria Galvin, and I'm a student at BTI in Tauranga. My assignment for today is based on the letter D, E, and F. This part of my study is a follow-up from Arnold's letters A, B, and C. Arnold and I have endeavored to work together on this assignment as recommended, and my part is as followed. I'm going to the letter D. I'm talking about critically reviews the relationship between social workers, social policies, and legislation. For example, social justice and advocacy. In E, I discussed the influence of Te Tiriti o Waitangi in social policies. And in F, I discussed the implication of all the above on the process that influences social work practice. Arnold talks in his part on the PowerPoint presentation about historical developments, function and practice of the government with its branches and the policy cycle and power relationships, highlighting the power that keeps the government accountable to bring change, but also to keep the voters' confidence by implementing changes for the better of our country. I'm going to build on Arnold's knowledge, and I will start with, as I said, my letter D. I repeat it one more time. It's critically reviews the relationship between social workers, social policies, legislation, like for example, legislation, and for example, social justice and advocacy. The field of social work has deep roots in the humanitarian, philosophical, and religious efforts to address poverty and injustice across different societies, significantly shaping the development of New Zealand society. Social work actually operates on a dual mandate. First of all, as number one, it empowers individuals, families, groups, and communities to discover their own path towards overcoming challenges and issues they encounter. Number two is enlightening society about the injustices within it and taking actions to reform the societal structures that breed and sustain injustice. It's important to note that prioritizing the first focus can sometimes lead to solutions, potentially infringing on the broader perspective. Social workers wield power and authority stemming from their status, role, and professional expertise, and in some cases, legislative measures. And this role placed them in various private, voluntary, and statutory agencies, which often involve explicit or implicit social control functions. However, regardless of the source of power, that inheritance ambiguity, social control that demands careful management. This complexity underscores why professional supervision is integral to social work practice. Moreover, the acknowledgement by the ASW that imposing a universal set of values on all individuals in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And it underscores the profession commitment to enable people to lead their lives accordingly to their own values and inspirations, free of harm to others. Social work's essence lies in its dedication to empowering individuals and communities, shaping a society that is just, equitable, and respectful of diverse values and cultures. And this comes out of the ASW 2019 journal. I am now at letter E. E discusses the influence of Te Tiriti o Waitangi in social policy. The principles of Te Tiriti o Waitangi should be the cornerstone of social work approach diversity. Te Tiriti o Waitangi should under this with this diversity and the dominant subordinate power relationship arising from Aotearoa's colonial history. And it needs to be recognized. And this is accordingly to Hetaraka 2019, Richardson 2010, Southwick and Poliskek 2014, and Walker 2012. The rights of Maori service users and their own responsibilities as practitioners to maintain the policies presented under the treaty to respect Maori, while one stated that the Ao Maori should be included in all work practices as a written policy in the procedures manual. Nevertheless, most people failed to report whether they included significant te reo or tikana in their practice, which could be seen as the signifier of a bicultural movement. And this is from N. Ballantyne of 2021. I am now at letter F, and this discusses the implications of all of the above on the processes that influence social work practice. So I'm basically going through all the letters up to F to give you a little something on each slide. And I'm starting now with A again, which is actually Arnold's letter. And in 1840, the Treaty of Waitangi was signed between Maori and Pākehā. And after that, New Zealand was in fact colonized. Russell, Kororareka, was the place in Okiato in the Bay of Islands where the first capital of New Zealand was established. There was a parliament in New Zealand since 1854, and that was in Auckland, where actually from Russell to Auckland was the capital moved. After that, in 1865, it was moved to Wellington. New Zealand is a representative democracy and a bicultural nation. In 1970, a movement was created by the government that created a policy for biocultural practices. I am now at B. B outlines the legislative. The primary institution in the Westminster democracy is Parliament, and which is also referred as the legislature. This is referenced by Hessel and Kemp Stephenson M. 2021, page 69. The role is to debate bills and vote on whether they should become law or not. When people are not able to stick to the law, they have to go to jail. That's why the Human Rights Act in New Zealand was established in it's actually called the Human Rights in New Zealand Prison Act in 1993, number 82. And this was established on the 10th of August, 1993. And it came into place to make sure that also prisoners and their human rights were upheld. Also, this act protects people from unlawful discrimination. Social workers should include this policy as a practice in their procedure manuals. In the Westminster democracy, the Parliament plays also a role as the primary institution. People have the power to vote on a party for the country and an MP for the electorates. Members of the legislature can be removed at the next election if they don't satisfy the expectations of the electorates. This is referenced by Hessel G. Kemp Stephen M. 2021, also on page 69. The people also have the power to protest or petition for change or a referendum. People have the power and the legal and human rights and cultural rights, like in Section 7AA in Oranga Tamariki, with the government that must uphold and protect through Maori services providers and all other service providers and being non-discriminatory. Non-discriminatory. Unlawful discrimination is when you treat unfairly or less favorable certain people than other people. And this can be because of your age, your color, or your race, disability, or your employment status, or your ethical beliefs. And here we've got a slide number C. C is talking about the people have the power to vote for the country and an MP for the electorate. Members of the legislature can be moved at the next election if they don't satisfy the expectation of their voters. The people also have the power to protest or petition for change. And we're going now to the next slide. I am now at letter D. Members of the ANZ, ASW have power and authority that derives from their status, role, and professional skills and attributes. Some have additional powers that derive from legislation, and social workers work in a variety of private, voluntary, and statutory agencies that have more or less explicit social control functions. This power, however, derives and the sequential ambiguity of clients' empowerment and social control needs careful management and is the key reason why social work practice is always subject to professional supervision. The association recognizes that it's equitable to impose a set of values on all who live in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and the social work aspiration is to enable and empower people to take charge of their own lives in the context of their own values and aspiration, where this causes no harm to others. I am now at letter E. Aotearoa, New Zealand social work education must also engage in robust critical analysis of monocultural, homogenic discourses and power relationships through Tetriti framework to prepare all students for effective practice with diversity in a biocultural context. It is possible that the vagueness of diversity could be another form of such a discourse. And this is from Anne Ballantyne. Here we have all our references. It was a little bit hard to get these references tidy up in our slides, but yes, here they are. I just try to see if you can see them a little bit better. Yeah. So this is one part of the slide. This is the second part of the slide. Okay. So here they are. And now we're going to the last slide, and that is the end. The end. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye, Linda.
Thank you. See you later.
Okay. So now let's stop it. Stop the recording. Oh, where's my button? Oh, here. Okay. Do it again.